Hey, VC. It's ready for another episode of Records from an Armchair. This is the chair that I sit in when I listen to music. Usually, my name is One Take Charlie. I do one take. It's so low tech. I mean, this is all it is. I just put the records in the chair because it's the best way for me to be able to like reach in. And then I just say whatever comes out of my mouth. So here we go. It's been a bit since I posted. I've bought a few things since the beginning of August, and this is the first one. So I went into Half Price Books, and this is one of the first things that I saw, and I'm like, you know what? I don't have this on vinyl. When I listen to this a lot because this is one of my favorite Kate Bush albums. So it was like, all right, today's the day I buy this. So with my 10% off, it was $23.39. I think that's okay. I think that's a pretty good price. Then I looked through everything else and I came upon this. Primus, Sailing the Sea of Cheese. Les Claypool, one of the greatest bassists of all time. Bass is my favorite instrument, I think. And that's from like Jaco Pastorius, like growing up listening to Jaco, just really turned me on to bass. So, the one thing I don't really like about Primus is the lyrics don't seem to be super important to them. It's more about the bass, and that's fine. That's who they are. But for me personally, I like the stories. I like the words. They're very important to me. So when I kind of feel like they're a throwaway, it's just not always my thing. However, I mean, I've heard Primus for years, and Les Claypool is great. So it was time to buy this as well. So it was a little expensive, but with my discount, it was $26.99, and I think that's sort of like the median price in Discogs. So it was time. It was time for me to get it. Then I was thinking about Kate Bush, and I was like, what else don't I have on vinyl? Because when I listen to Lionheart, I listen on the CD, right? And I was like, what else do I? I thought I had everything, but then I'm like, you know what? I don't have Never Forever. So I took a look on eBay. I haven't bought anything on eBay in a long time, but I took a look and I found this copy. It's the vinyl's mint. The cover is pretty much near mint. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy this. So I did. So on August 7th, I bought this on eBay. This is Kate Bush, Never Forever. And I think it was like 20, and then there was some shipping and some tax. So delivered to my doorstep, it was $27.11. Again, I think that's sort of a median price on Discogs. So I'm happy to have it now. The only of the Kate Bush stuff, the non-recent Kate Bush stuff, the only thing I don't have on vinyl now is Red Shoes, and I do have that on CD. So the next time I see it, I'm probably going to grab it. I know, they have the reissue ones at Half Price Books, so I'm sure I'll run into it sometime soon. And speaking of Half Price Books, I went on August 11th, and there were a few things that I got. One is this guy. It's like a compilation, a country music compilation. I don't even know if there's really even a title of it. But the reason I got it is because it has Patsy Cline. The record is actually sealed, and I'm going to just leave it sealed. Anything I see of Patsy Cline, I'll just buy as long as it's in decent shape. Usually they're not very expensive either. But, after Joni, Patsy Cline probably is my second favorite of all time. So this guy set me back $3.59. It's got exactly 2 Patsy Cline songs on it, Walking After Midnight and Ain't No Wheels on This Ship, which I find to be an interesting choice. but yeah, it was a Patsy Cline record. It costs, what did I say, $3.59. I'm like, yeah, I'll just grab it. I also had already picked up a couple of other things, so that's the reason that I got it. I don't think I would have like stood in line just to pick up this. I probably would have just waited and assumed that no one would buy it. And the next time I went in to Half Price Books, it would still be there. But I bought a couple other things, so I can grab this one. All right, Simply Red. This is their first album, and it's really, I have not, you know, I know that they've gone on to 20 or 30 years of, you know, great albums and stuff, but I haven't paid attention to them at all. But this album was just super big when I was maybe a sophomore in college. But I, you know, I was dead broke then, so I didn't buy stuff like this, you know, just because it had a great song or two. I hardly ever went out and bought albums, so, you know, every couple years when Joni put out an album, I was there that day that it was released and bought it. But for the most part, I relied on my friend who bought a lot of records to make cassette tapes for me. So that's really how I had a lot of my music, including this one, I think. This was $6.29 with the 10% off. I've seen this dozens of times over the last few years. And just because it was pretty inexpensive, I decided to pick it up. And is this all I need on Simply Red? Yeah, I think so. If you want to recommend another great album of Simply Red, go ahead and do it, and I will definitely check it out. Yeah, I never really kept up with them after this album. So the last thing that I bought was actually the first thing I saw when I walked in the store. And it is, of course, the Ramones, Rocket to Russia. What an album, right? I've been, like when I was getting back into records, I'm like, oh, I'm going to pick up an OG Ramones records. And back then they were like $20. And I was like, oh, that's a little much. I'm going to wait, right? So now I don't even know what an OG Rocket to Russia is going for, but probably, I'm going to say $80. I may be way off, but this is a repress. There were the represses from 2017, maybe 2018. And again, they were like $20 or so. And I'm like, oh, that's a little expensive. I'll wait. And then, everybody decided to start collecting records, and the prices went up and up and up and up. So I saw this. And it was, I guess, $19.99 because I got it with the 10% off. I got it for $17.99. So I love the Ramones. I love Joey Ramone. It's one of my really strange crushes that I've always my whole life had a crush on him. So yeah, it's like. Makes no sense because I'm gay, but I don't know, there's just something about him that I've always really, really loved. So I'm glad to have this. I have a couple of live Ramones that came out on Record Store Day. I have, I'm not going to remember the one that it's blue. It has a lot of blue on the cover. I'm not going to remember what that's called. And then I have Ramones box set. And then I have some CDs as well, but I'm mostly a vinyl collector these days. So I saw this when I walked in the store, and I took a look at the price, and I'm like, $20. Okay, it's coming with me. And then, I saw the other couple things too. So Simply Red, that was pretty easy for me to decide because it was also not very expensive. What did I say? $6.29, so it was $6.99, I think. And then the Patsy Cline, I just, it cost nothing it was just practically free to just add in, so I did. So yeah, that's all I bought, from this month. This is what I'm doing these days, is I'm keeping track of what I'm buying, keeping track of the price. and just gonna look at the end of the year and see exactly how much I spent on records, and then decide, is that an amount that is acceptable for me to spend, or do I need to cut back, or do I feel like, hey, I've got tons of extra money, I'm gonna go buy this, I'm gonna go buy that, we'll see. I have this little notebook that I've been just keeping track. I know I can do this in a spreadsheet. I can do this, on Discogs. I can do this any other way possible. One take Charlie, low tech. Very, very analog in the way that I like to do things. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of keeping track of my spending pattern, my spending habits, in the way that I choose to do it. So that's it. Peace out, vinyl community. I will see you later. Thanks. Bye.